welcome to the morning brief. It's a brand new week, brand new day, brand new people. I'm tired of it. You didn't see that coming, did you?
I didn't see that coming.
Well, I did. Yeah, quintessential Kade for you. The silence of the morning, they say, holds a lot of expectations, but the optimism and the boisterousness of the morning brief, of course, makes you have a perfect day. Good morning and welcome. I am Bukola Koka.
I think I need to learn how to say these things like Bukola.
Bukola, you should take us.
But I think like you should
the delivery.
You just make us feel like, I don't want to say like less privileged.
No, no.
I don't know. Anyway,
Jeffrey, you didn't just say that?
It's your breakfast companion. I'm Jeffrey, and it's going to be an exciting one this morning. But Bukola she just will come with these quotes from God knows where, and like, okay, did I really prepare for my own intro before I came on this show?
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
I only just good morning with a breakfast companion,
Jeffrey,
and then Bukola will go
Jeffrey,
according to Alexander.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
Jeffrey,
thanks for joining us.
You can leave it for postmortem.
Okay.
You don't have to say it on live.
I'll be honest. They actually helped me. Last time it was really beautiful to hear, and this one as well. Thank you for those. You could be telling me before the show so I can soak it in. But hey, that is a picture of what we have for you on the show. Essentially, we're here to ensure that you have the very best start to your day. That's
Absolutely.
why we're here. That's why we're up early to give you the very best. So welcome to the show. We have such a huge package for you. But let me just start by saying, hey, January is on the verge of saying goodbye. Finally, just 2 more days, guys. Hold on. We can do this, can't we?
We can get to the finish line, and we're almost there. With school fees, knocking on the door. You can do it, Nigerians. Just be disciplined, and you'll have a fairly lean balance to get you into February.
Once you aspire, aspire.
I don't even know what to say.
You know what? We hope this is infecting you with some laughter. There's so much going on now.
Boy.
Yeah, and we just thought, hey, let's take a break, guys, and walk you through another side of your morning, your day. But let's walk you through what we have for you on the show.
Exactly.
This morning. We're starting off with the Super Eagles. They're flying against the winds, it may seem. They may have begun that competition on a shaky note, but then our boys, or let's say our birds, seem to be finding their rhythm. And that much needed hunger, well, they defeated the indomitable Lions of Cameroon and are through to the quarterfinals. But is this that point where we raise our hopes and expectations and go all out, or still exercise some cautious optimism, I should say? Where do we stand, guys?
Well, I like that, Kadi. Our birds, our own eagles, are delivering for us, and we hope that they deliver up until the final day of the competition. Moving on now, on our very first How I Went Viral segment, we bring you the heartwarming story of a laborer at a construction site whose musical talent was spotted by a producer on the streets of Lagos. Yes, on the streets of Lagos. What happened after that was simply magical. Both of them join us on the show today to share their story and do what they know how to do best. So you don't want to miss it. Jeffrey.
Absolutely. You will hear this guy freestyle live here on the show. But that's not all. You know him as different things, from social media influencer to content creator, bookworm, and a young man challenging the perception of beauty or image in the beauty industry. Well, he's going to be with us. What's his story and how has he been able to build this very huge brand as an influencer on the social media? We'll talk to this gentleman. Well, you'll find out who this gentleman is in just a moment. I know you're curious, but hey, calm down. We're going to introduce him.
Talk about our mystery guest. Maybe I could give you some insight.
Yeah.
You can go on our social media page right now, and you might get an inkling as to what or who that person is. But also on the show, while there are talks, guys, about the beginning of the 4th Mainland Bridge, when it's meant to start construction this year, it is actually important to pay attention to the predecessor of the 4th Mainland Bridge. That's the 3rd Mainland Bridge, which has been partially closed for repairs for 3 weeks now. Questions about how it is progressing. I'm talking about that repair work. How is it progressing amidst reports of slow pace of work, and how long will this take, guys? That's a big question we'll be getting into also on the program.
Indeed. Plus, what's trending? Share your thoughts with us. #CTV Morning Brief on X. on our WhatsApp number. Your videos are also welcome. Of course, we'll authenticate them and then we'll be willing to share. We're taking your comments and messages as always. If you have videos, again, that are newsworthy, please send them our way. Let's get your voices amplified as usual on the Morning Brief.
So let's do this, guys.
Absolutely.
This is the Morning Brief. We have
Absolutely.
such a lineup for you. We're starting with the top stories of the day. These are stories that will be shaping the conversation for today and perhaps the week. And that's in a moment. Stay with us on the Morning Brief. Bring you the top stories on the Morning Brief. We begin with the announcement by the military government of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger that they no longer want to be members of the regional body ECOWAS. Well, ECOWAS has now responded with a statement denying receipt of a formal notification from the three member states about their intention to withdraw from the community, but that it has been working assiduously with the countries for the restoration of constitutional order. In a joint communique released yesterday, the three governments said ECOWAS was being influenced by foreign powers, betraying its founding principles, and had become a threat to member states, and they accused ECOWAS of not providing assistance to their states States in the context of their existential fight against terrorism and insecurity. And there you see the statement that was jointly released. It says, faced with this continuing situation, Their Excellencies Captain Ibrahim Traore, Colonels Simi Goita and Brigadier General Abdurrahman Tiani, respectively, heads of state of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali and Republic of Niger, taking all their responsibilities in the face of history and responding to the expectations, concerns and aspirations of their populations, decide in complete sovereignty on the immediate withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger from the economic community of West African states. Now, this was also broadcast on the national televisions of Mali and Niger. Looks like a long day, but we'll continue to follow that particular one. But back home here in Nigeria, 6 pupils of the Sangaya Quranic Center in Gubbio town have been killed by improvised explosive device which exploded near the Sangaya. Now, the incident is said to have occurred when a metal scavenger unknowingly collected and stored various metallic items in a building close to the Sangaya school. Now, according to information available to Channels Television, the scavenger collected an undetonated IED which was abandoned among other scrap metals, which led to an explosion at about 2 p.m. Meanwhile, Governor Babagana Zulum has also described the recent explosion of landmines killing commuters, security agents and locals across different locations as a renewed attempt to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettle IDPs to their ancestral homes.
Administration has actively collaborated with security agencies to enhance the security situation in the state. These include providing support and resources to the military, police, and other security forces to strengthen their capacities in combating insurgency. Additionally, we have established a civilian joint task force that works alongside security forces to gather intelligence, protect communities, and counter insurgent activities at the grassroots.
Staying with security, all eyes on the police following the arrest of one Bello Mohammed, a suspected kidnapper believed to be involved in the abduction and murder of Nabia, daughter of a Buhari lawyer. Now, a statement from police spokesperson Olumuyiwa Adejobi says the arrest follows the raid on a hotel in Tafa area of Kaduna State in which the suspect was arrested with 2.25 million naira suspected to be proceeds of ransoms said to be collected from kidnapped victims within the area. According to the police, the suspect during interrogation confessed to being a part of the gang that kidnapped the family members of one lawyer, Rio, in Buhari FCT on January the 2nd and killed some kidnapped victims, including Nabia, the daughter of a legal practitioner, on January the 13th in a kidnappers camp in Kaduna State. The suspect in a dramatic situation is said to have offered 1 million naira to induce the DPO, who rejected the offer. And now to politics. It appears that an end to the political standoff in Rivers State is still far in sight. As Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says, his administration is facing distractions as a result of the political crisis in the state, despite winning at the Supreme Court. The governor made this statement in his hometown of Opobo, where he attended a service in the aftermath of his victory at the Supreme Court. He's also been speaking at other religious events. Take a listen.
The theme is not different from my story. I was promoted by God first through my party and the leaders of my party. So promotion comes from God and God alone. I want to say a big thank you to this family for your support before our election, during our election, and also after the election. You have shown so much support to us. Your prayers has kept us going. I want to thank you especially for that. And to say that our government will continue to support this program in this state.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Elders and Leaders Forum is asking him not to get distracted now that the Supreme Court has laid to rest doubts to his stay as governor. Well, former Deputy Governor, Mr. Gabriel Toby, who read a communique on behalf of the group, also appealed to the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, to play the role of what he calls an elder statesman.
We now have one governor on seat. Thank God Supreme Court has ruled that he's governor. So I guess he will settle down. What we now want them is, he, by being a governor of this state, immediate past governor, he has become an elder statesman, even though he's a minister, he's a politician. The problem with politicians is they don't know when to draw the line between politics and statesmanship. But what we want now is graduated to being a statesman. And the interest of this state, I'm sure, must be paramount in his mind. I have no doubt about that. And so all of us, including you, who sometimes stroke the fire, should now get into the realm of trying to pacify the place. And don't forget, without peace, nothing, there can be no development. And nobody pretends that he's happy when there's war.
Now, in its bid to rid Nigeria of illegal drug trafficking and other activities surrounding it, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have arrested a Brazil returnee at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on suspicion of dealing in drugs. Now, he was arrested during inward clearance of passengers from Sao Paulo for allegedly ingesting 60 wraps of cocaine, which weighed 1.279 kilograms. Also in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, the operatives have also arrested two suspects, Mohammed Usman and Adamu Mazu, for allegedly carrying 49 blocks of cannabis sativa weighing 50 kilograms. Now let's talk business. It's a startling revelation by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Adeoluwa, who says the ministry is owed trillions of naira in unpaid royalties and taxes by legalized operators. According to a statement by his spokesperson, Segun Tomori, the minister spoke during a visit of Mohammed Bello, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission chairman, and his team to his office. Mr. Lake added that the federal government has implemented measures to engage consultants in blocking leakages and recover funds from the operators. And now to sports. It's yet another shock at the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire as DR Congo's goalkeeper Lionel Mpassi scored the 18th penalty of a nerve-shredding shootout to knock out seven-time champions Egypt. That's following a 1-1 draw after extra time. Now the shootout saw both sides miss from their second attempt, with Mohamed footing wide of the right-hand upright, and Offer Masuaku immediately scooping the ball over the crossbar for the Central Africans. But Mpassi kept his composure. The slot into the top right-hand corner against Skabaski, who had been a penalty-saving specialist in Egypt's run to the final in Cameroon 2 years ago. Now, DR Congo will play Guinea in the quarterfinals at Abidjan's Alassane Ouattara Stadium on Friday after the Silly National beat Equatorial Guinea 1-0 earlier on Sunday. Well, let's talk about our very own Super Eagles head coach Joseph Peseiro says there is still a lot to be done as the three-time African champions turn their attention to the quarterfinal clash against Angola on Friday. Coach Peseiro also says he's still waiting for the medical report of goalkeeper Stanley Wabali to determine the extent of his injury after he was stretchered off in the game against Cameroon.
He didn't score, but he did a fantastic game. It's not easy. Stop that guy. Ask the defenders, the opponent. Ask them. Ask them what they suffer. What they suffer. They don't. They pressure. They win the ball. The first ball. He create the goal.
Yeah, it was a big performance from the team. We fought well from the first minute to the 100th minute. All-round team performance, and we were strong. So on to the next game.
So all eyes on the Super Eagles. Of course, we'll be getting some breakdown of what to expect from the Super Eagles and, of course, the competition as well. But in another news, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees is having a hard time operating in that region, and that's due to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. The agency says life-saving assistance, on which 2 million Gazans rely, could be about to end as several Western governments suspend their funding over allegations that some of the staff were involved in the October 7th attacks on Israel. The mission currently runs shelters for the displaced and distributes the only aid that Israel is allowing in, as well as providing key infrastructure and tools of daily life that Gaza lacks. Well, those are the top stories on the brief this morning, but there's so much more happening, particularly what you're saying across social media. So we turn our attention to what's trending this morning. Of course, Jeffrey joins me to do this one. Jeffrey,
absolutely.
It looks like it's going to be a busy week.
A very busy week. There's a lot to look out for, and we're excited with some of the things we're seeing. We came into the brand new week with the exciting victory from the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and of course, that we can't talk without that victory. So that's one excitement that cannot leave us pretty soon, because we're looking forward to the next match to see whether they can build on this momentum. But we'll talk about all of that later on the show. The pundits will be joining us from Abidjan, and we'll look at how we got ourselves here and what we can do to improve all of this. But that's not all that's happening. There's a lot more going on in terms of especially security. We saw the release by the police talking about the destruction of camps, bandit camps, and the rest of deadly kidnappers for the gruesome murder of Nabiha. Remember that incident in the outskirts of Abuja.
Very sad.
So there appears to be some closure when these arrests are done. Suspects are now in custody of the Nigerian police, and so you've been talking. We want to take some of the tweets, but the first tweet, actually the statement came from the police force public relations officer, Olumiyo Adejobi. Is a long one. We may not be able to take all of that, but basically talking about the progress that the police has made since that particular incident. So you can see police destroy bandits camp, arrest deadly kidnapper for kidnap, gruesome murder of Buhari lady Nabiha in Kaduna. So a long one there by the police force. Kayode, you have the next one.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what you are saying about that one, because it's actually something that trended. The security situation is still very much of a concern, but the police has announced this arrest. So what are you saying? Take a look at what real Queen B says in response, of course, to this arrest. Says, kudos to the Nigerian police. This is the kind of story that the Nigerian people will be happy to hear. Not lies, not propaganda. We give kudos when it's due and reprimand when they falter. Goes on to say, hopefully, they will not release them in a few months' time and tell the people that they're repentant kidnappers. I know that's a conversation that's also been ongoing, but Quimby has raised some of the issues. So we'll keep our eyes on the police, on this investigation, the possible prosecution, and follow this to a conclusion. So stay with us.
All right, Quimby is not the only one talking. Toyin Bakanista is well, kudos to the arrest of this kidnapper and kudos to the police. If indeed he was part of the, that word they use that kidnapped those families. But there's need to go after the other members of the gang, especially their sponsors. The sponsors, when arrested, will help in solving the puzzle. If left to work free, they will simply recruit more thugs to their criminal gang. I think that's a very valid point he's made there, because most of the time we see the perpetrators, the guys who carry out the operation, who are those behind them? We need to see them docked and prosecuted.
It's good to see what Nigerians are saying, really, about the Nigerian police.
Exactly.
Jeffrey Iman Eze says, this is commendable. I have always known from experience that Nigerian police has what it takes to solve Nigerian security problems if they can overcome corruption, as was apparent in this case, and on due political and other interventions. It says, congratulations on this one. Well, it's quite interesting.
Absolutely. So the police is getting a lot of thumbs up this morning, and that's how it should be. When they do well, they are praised. When they are not doing well, of course, they get a slack. But this is coming from Peace. Well done. This is an opportunity for you to know the workings of these criminals, how and where they get guns, how they get unregistered numbers to call victims' relatives, contact tracing of every member in their call logs, all cases of kidnappings ever carried out, other known groups. So other known groups? That's a question. And all the cases of kidnappings ever carried out. So loads of questions. So the person is simply saying, look, for the progress we've made, there are more questions to answer so that we can give proper closure to this incident because, hey, criminals are criminals. That's what they are, and we must fish them out.
Absolutely. But let's take a look at another conversation that has been big in the news. You saw that announcement by 3 nations in the ECOWAS sub-region saying they are pulling out of ECOWAS. So let's take a look at the reaction that has trailed that one, the announcement by Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger that they are quitting ECOWAS. Don't forget, earlier we said ECOWAS says they've not received an official notification as to that. So this news broke yesterday, and a lot of people were giving angles to this story. So you had a TV in Ghana also talking about that, just showing how important this is for the sub-region. But take a look at this reaction from Afua Trump-Lena, that's Jollof on X, saying, oh, Burkina Faso? So we will need visa to enter Burkina Faso, or what now? Well,
so you see there are different dimensions.
Different angles for people.
Different dimensions to this thing. Ghanaian pop culture said, oh my God, social studies about to be updated.
You have to give it to people on X, though.
Yes, they're really creative. Like, I didn't see that coming, by the way. I did not even see that coming. So, is that too early?
You know, sometimes people ask, are we trivializing these issues? Are we trying to just be simplistic? But hey, different strokes for different folks. For him or her, it is social studies that matters. We'll take a look at this one from Sumani 1975 on X, saying, this has long been expected. The leadership of ECOWAS should have long since envisaged this. I strongly have a belief that a 4th country to quit ECOWAS will soon be joining these 3 countries. Really?
Really? Okay, Eddie Chris says, "Oy, what wind is blowing in Africa? Is it division or Mama Africa?
Or what?
Or what?"
Says Mama Africa.
I don't know. There's a lot. You know, someone was saying the approach of ECOWAS as well had actually played a role. There's a guy called Alexander Thurston. He's a scholar.
Yeah.
He had lined up some of these issues around code. There's something they call hard rejection. And there's something called soft rejection. There's something called hard acceptance, soft acceptance. So if you stay with the 2, he's basically saying that when it comes to hard rejections, when coups occur, is when maybe the regional body says, no, this coup piece, you must not carry out this coup. For whatever you did, revert back to civilian authority. But the soft rejection is, okay, we accept the coup, but quickly transits and make sure that elections are held and all of that. So the approach of ECOWAS, the initial approach of ECOWAS from the chairman of ECOWAS, which is Nigeria's president, was a hard rejection. They don't want to listen, we don't want to hear, just get back to the barracks, you know, give power back to the democratically elected officials and all of that. And then later I started seeing statements from ECOWAS and their meetings.
Trying to soften.
And they went from hard rejection to something that looks like a soft rejection. And now this has actually gotten to this point. So some people are calling it a failure of diplomacy. But let's see how it goes. ECOWAS has said they've not received any formal, notification or letter from these 3 nations. But let's see whether the conversation will, turn in our favor as a region, because it's important that we're together around this time.
Absolutely. So we look forward to what ECOWAS will do. Don't forget what happens after. Don't forget, there's a lot of issues.
There's a lot.
But let's switch gears now and talk about sports. Sports is quite big now. We understand AFCON is getting more interesting by the day. So yesterday we saw that shock, and take a look at what people are saying. He says, I was wondering why everyone in the stadium supporting Guinea. You know, remember that match was between Guinea and Equatorial Guinea.
I know.
And then remembered Equatorial Guinea walloped the hosts 4-0 4 days ago.
Yeah, I can understand.
So, of course, they're like, since you beat us, we're going to support the opponent.
So they came to see them fail.
And they actually succeeded in seeing them fail. So Equatorial Guinea.
But the Equatorial Guinea should be very proud.
What?
They shocked every one of us.
Those
literally
did great.
Like, they did great.
Yeah.
You know, to beat a host nation 4-0.
We're almost losing that match. Thankfully, Osimhen equalized immediately. If we had waited for long, a lot of people were saying Equatorial Guinea may have been tough to defeat.
Man, this is coming from okay, let's just say King Odi. Payback time. Revenge is best served on a cold or chilled dish. I don't know. Maybe you wanted to say cold dish. I'm not sure of that word.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. But, you know, basically, I'm sure that after what they did to Nigeria and then consolidated with what they did to Cote d'Ivoire, they didn't have too many friends. I know that on TikTok, for instance, there's a lady, she's from Equatorial Guinea. She's always dancing to this song. I know some of you know that lady. I don't know her name, but yesterday I had to go to her page to check out. She's still dancing. Oh,
I think it's been the case for, you know, fans from Cameroon as well. I don't want to get into this because I know it's been done on social media.
Cameroon is coming for us. Cameroon, are you really ready for Nigeria?
Don't forget there's a match between Anthony Joshua and Ghana in March.
And I'm sure they're going to be looking out for that. So, Cameroon, are you really, you know, since 2000 when that incident happened, I think in Lagos, when Ikpeba scored the goal and we thought it wasn't a goal, Nigeria has always beaten Cameroon. So let's be clear.
But, you know, we're sort of
from the African Cup of Nations, from the African Cup of Nations, Nigeria has beaten Cameroon all the way till yesterday. So sorry, Cameroon. We're just the big brothers, with all sense of respect here. I don't want to look for trouble
for him. We'll go to break now. When we return, we'll have some conversation on the AFCON, and then we'll build up on the show. It's a full lineup for you. This is the morning brief. Stay with us. Morning brief right here on Channels Television. You can join the conversation, by the way, on X, other social media platforms. #CTV Morning Brief. And you can just head to WhatsApp. Forgive me, I'm quite excited this morning. So we have a WhatsApp number for you. You can send in your comments, your messages, and videos as you deem them fit. If you have anything newsworthy, let us know. We can amplify that for the good of our nation. Well, let's turn our attention to sports. Not like we actually turn our attention away from sports anyway. It's always there. Everybody counting down to the next match or following the matches. Yesterday was a cracker. Saturday was even more exciting for a lot of Nigerians. The Super Eagles, we're now in the quarterfinals. We won Cameroon, as it should be, right? Don't forget, Jeffrey said we're big brothers anyway. So let's walk through that match. The matches that followed, and of course the coming days. We're joined, as always, on the show by Suleiman Adebayo Puja. There you see him right there in Cote d'Ivoire with the iconic tint on his beard. Puja, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know you were excited that Nigeria won that match against Cameroon, gave us bragging rights yet again. And I see what followed on social media with Nigerians peppering Cameroonians on social media. But the biggest scare for me, Wabali being stretched off, Uzor coming in, and there were analysis about, Uzor's performance in that match. But just give us what you know so far about the Super Eagles and what will happen, because there are concerns about our squad for the next match. Iheanacho is also in the mix. So talk to us about that match and, of course, the aftermath. Puja.
Okay, it was a very good match for the Super Eagles. Another clean sheet in the bag for the Super Eagles. But what we know right now is that
Stanley Wabali is not. There's no news on him yet because yesterday was a training-free day for the Super Eagles. There was no training yesterday. You know, the coach of the side, Joseph Posero, gave them an off day for them to relax. So, but the press conference after the match, immediately after the match, Posero confirmed that the doctors will get back to him after 48 hours, talking about what happened to Stanley Wabali, the goalkeeper. For Ozowo, just kept for like 15 minutes, so there's no news about his performance yet. But for Wabali, I think by today, later on today, we'll know the fate of the Nigerians towards him. Remember, he has just considered just one goal in this tournament. Away from that, about Kelechi Iheanacho, the coach also said because he came from Leicester City injured, and he has not been part of the team through the camp in Abu Dhabi down to the camp in Cote d'Ivoire, is not yet match fit to partake in the heat of AFCON. So there's no news on Iheanacho when he's going to start or going to play for Nigeria. But I have to confess to you that by today we know more about Wabali because the coach said the doctor said after 48 hours results will be out.
So let's talk about what played out that Saturday. What was the magic? Besides the fighting spirit, I know everything was at stake. Bragging right, national pride. There are so many things at stake here. But you're the technical guy. What did Posero do right? And is he winning Nigerians' hearts finally?
It's just simple, like we said on the show, several times. It's just about the formation. Against Ivory Coast, we did the same kind of formation, 3-5-2, where we have the wing backs, coming to forward, likes of Saidu and Aino, being the part of the midfield and the defense lineup. And we did exactly what we did against Ivory Coast, against Cameroon. Remember, in the pre-press conference before the game, Posero actually said he wants to score one goal and close shop. And that's what he did against against Cote d'Ivoire, against Cameroon as well. He scored, and there's no goal for Cameroon. So it's just the formation that is working out for him. Like I always say, we have the best material for this kind of formation. If there is no Aino, we have Bruno. If there is no Saidu, we have Bright Osai. So it looks like the team. And when it comes to the later part of the game, we always bring Kenneth Omero to seal up the game, and that's what he did against Cameroon again. So I think the formation, the 3-5-2 formation is working so well, and I don't think he's going to deploy that one against Angola as well, because against Guinea-Bissau, he did the 4-3-3 formation, but against big side at this AFCON, he did the same thing against Ivory Coast, and he did the same thing against Cameroon. It was a 3-5-2 formation that is working very well for him, that we consider just one goal in this AFCON.
So it's 3-5-2. We're having a debate before, not the debate now, conversation before the program about whether it was 4-4-2 or 4-4-3. Thank you for that enlightenment. So whether it's Cameroon Pepe or Cameroon Jollof versus Nigerian Jollof, this age-long rivalry is bound to be enhanced beyond this competition. But Pooja, still on what Coach Posero did differently, so much has been said about Ademola Lookman. Is he, alongside Semi Ajayi, the much-needed support system that Victor Osimhen needs on the attacking line now for us to be able to convert our chances to goals more effectively in subsequent games?
Yes, of course. We discussed about Posero coming out to say we are creating chances, but we are not converting our chances. And I think, as we continue to grow into this tournament, we are converting chances. And the wingers talking about Samuel Moses and Lookman are now creating chances for Victor Osimhen. Away from the fact that Victor Osimhen have scored just one goal at this tournament, they've created enough goals, for Victor Osimhen. Remember, before the last round of 16 against Cameroon, we had most of the clear-cut chances at this tournament. We've created more chances than any other side at this tournament. So it shows that there's something that the wingers are doing, Lookman are doing, and of course, Samuel Moses. So if you look at the game against Cameroon, you see that there's a new support. I remember you said there was no unity, there was no collective unity between these guys. And I said they know what they are doing, they want to play for themselves, because if they lose, all of them lose, they win, all of them win. That's why you saw the first goal. Osimhen could have gone on to score that goal, but you have to create that chance for Lookman. So the guys are creating chances. and of course, we are scoring goals. Remember, we've not scored more than one goal at this tournament, but against Cameroon, even with a defensive setup by Posero, we created more chances and we scored 2 goals. So I think our wingers, and like I said, we have the best material for this formation. So if there's no Moses, there's a Chukwueze, if there's no, of course, if there's no Lukman, there's other guys in the fold that can play. Eniola has not kicked a ball at this tournament. So we have so much from the bench and, of course, from the starting lineup that we can do against Angola on Friday.
I don't know if we should start getting excited, because there's still cautious optimism. Everybody's still watching. Should we go all in or still just expect the worst? But, of course, we have to expect the best of our team. Before we talk about yesterday's match, or matches, but particularly Egypt's match, which was a major cracker. I mean, it was a beautiful game to watch. Talk to us about the controversy around that VAR call, the first goal that was ruled out, because for a lot of people, it's still quite controversial. Yes, they saw the keeper was, well, ahead of our players, but then they saw a defender that was right there in the goalpost, and they're thinking, how is that offside? It doesn't quite make sense. What kind of rule is this? We should have been 3 goals up at the end of the day. So, Puja, help us out with that particular one.
Okay, right inside the stadium, we are always, we are, amazed about the VAR decision. But if you look at the rules very well, once the player, when the goalkeeper is in front of his own player, that means the player is the goalkeeper in that regard. So that means Sema Ajayi was offside in that game. So no matter what happened, once the ball is behind the goalkeeper and there's an opponent, there's a teammate behind the goalkeeper, that shows that the player is the goalkeeper in that regard, according to the rules, officiating the game. So it looks like an unjust VAR decision. But after we watched it, after we read through the news, and of course we read through CAF channels, we saw that that's the rule. So Sema Ajayi was actually offside in that regard. So that's the rule. Everybody is still questioning the rule. But of course, we are just analysts, and you have to follow what CAF and FIFA have put down as part of the rules.
We know that offsides are perhaps the most complicated rule to define in football. Sometimes we just don't get it. Why is this offside? Maybe that's why the VAR came in. But moving on from there, let's talk a bit of technicalities here. Osimhen did a fantastic job fighting like he's trying to win a shirt. But, for the Super Eagles, this is the best player on the continent, about one of the top 10 players in the world and all of that. But he gave that fighting spirit in that match. But you could also see that whether it was man mark or zone mark, I'm not sure. Do you think that going forward, given the attention on Osimhen, in your view, we should use him as a decoy? Because most likely they're going to continue to man mark him and push that frustration further. He wants to score, but I like the fact that he knows that this is about team and victory.
I think that will be the Achilles heels for this team going to the later part of the tournament. Everybody wants to mark Victor Osimhen. If you saw that game against Cameroon, it was very clear. It was a man marking for Victor Osimhen, and that's why we were able to score that goal, that second goal. Calvin, just strode from the left back and just pass the ball to Lukman. While other defenders were actually marking Victor Osimhen. If you look at that game well as well, the Gonzalo guy, talking about the Cameroon defender, was all over Victor Osimhen throughout that game. It was just a tactical instruction to mark Osimhen, and that's a part of, because he would drag players to him and all other players will free, because in the box in the second half when you are looking for goal, Lukman Adeoluwa should not be as free as that. But of course they are marking Victor Osimhen. But Victor Osimhen as well, I think after the third game, like I said, I think the second training session, he had more time talking to Joseph Posero when other guys were playing. So I believe it was telling him to take pressure off him. This is officially the first AFCON for Victor Osimhen that will be leading the team. Remember, he played just one game, less than 30 minutes in Egypt in 2019 against Tunisia in the third place. So this is the first time going into AFCON as the striker of Super Eagles. And remember, he won the CAF award, so there was so much pressure on him. So I think the coach just told him, guy, just calm down. there's so much to do in this tournament, and that's what he has been doing. Because if he was looking for goal in that game, that first goal, he could have run along to score that goal, but he laid the pass to Adeoluwa. So I think, you know, if countries continue to mark Victor Osimhen, they open doors for other players like Lookman and Moses to punish them.
Yeah, well, seems we have to say a lot of prayers for Osimhen now, who is now seen as Achilles' heel. But going forward now, Pooja, talk to us about the match with Angola. They're seen as, you know, very brilliant players, defeating Namibia by a comfortable lead. Should we be worried?
I don't think we should be worried. To all due respect, Angola are a very good side. They're a very good African side, and they have scored a lot of goals. But what is going on for us, even before this game, Cameroon scored 5 goals in the group phases, but they couldn't score a goal against Nigeria. So I'm not even scared of team scoring goals at this tournament, because we have the best defense at this AFCON. So if you have the best defense, that means they cannot score us. And we score goals, we created chances. And I think for Angola, they've not played that top level team. And for Nigeria, we play the likes of Guinea-Bissau, the likes of Victoria Guinea, who they are very good when it comes to African football. And Posero have found a way to manage or navigate this fixture. So against Angola on Friday, I don't think we are going to play that defensive game we play against Ivory Coast and Cameroon. We are going to open shops, you know, just like we did against Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. But the boys know what is on ground. By today, we have to see them in training after that daybreak yesterday and see, you know, their tenacity, their disposition ahead of the game as well. But for Angola, they are a good side. You know, if you're in the quarterfinal of AFCON, you're a good side. But they played against Namibia, who are not top level like Nigeria. But for Nigeria, we played against top teams, we played against lesser teams, and I think Posero should be doing his own work as we speak.
So let's expect a win, but hey, we're not throwing all our hearts in yet. Let's just still exercise cautious optimism. Pooja, someone was asking me to ask you, what if we want to join the Super Eagles? Is there a chance for us? Some people have skills.
Pooja, please don't include me.
But I have to thank you so much, Pooja, for giving such insightful analysis. Always a pleasure having you on the show, and I hope we can have this conversation again after Nigeria wins Angola and we're through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, I like that line, after Nigeria wins Angola.
You love that, right?
Amen.
Amen to that.
Pooja, what's your prediction? What's your prediction?
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
Another clean sheet for the Super Eagles.
2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0.
2-0.
Okay, we'll take that.
We'll take that.
A win is a win. Pooja, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Speak to you soon. Goodbye. Right, so we'll go to break now. When we return, we'll turn our attention to the third Mainland Bridge. Is work ongoing there? When will they be done? When will we have our beloved third Mainland Bridge back in full? That's in a moment. Stay with us. Kesha, Federal Controller Works Lagos, joins us on the show this morning to talk us through what's going on with I said our beloved third mainland bridge. Good morning, welcome to the morning break.
Good morning.
I don't know if you get that sense with the kind of comments and criticism you're getting. Maybe you also see that Nigerians or Lagosians particularly love their third mainland bridge and they can't wait for this work to be done. So there are questions about, is work really ongoing there? How long will this work take? But before we get into that one, we saw a very interesting video about 2-3 weeks ago. There was some slaughtering of some animals actually on the third mainland bridge. And a lot of people had to check again, is this the same third mainland bridge? And I don't know if you've seen that video, but just maybe give us an insight as to what exactly played out, just to clear the air for a lot of people who ask questions.
Good morning once again. I actually saw the video and it was very embarrassing. Even the Honorable Minister's attention was drawn to it, and we had to summon the Chinese. And they said it's a prayer for them, that they are trying to pray to their God when they want to start such delicate job. They consider walking on the bridge, on top of water, inside water, as very delicate. So they said they had to pray to their God for guidance and direction before they could go ahead. But we told them they've embarrassed the nation, and they wrote an apology that it was unintentional, that it was just their own way of doing their thing. It's not about us, it's about them. We've given them the job. They had to devise a way of being safe, of being... They think if they don't do that, maybe the water spirits may attack them. So it's appeasing their gods. But they apologize and going forward.
But Mrs. Kisha, this is not customary. Were they acting on counsel from older engineering companies who have been doing construction work in Nigeria, who, according to legend, always go the same route, such that they are protected from the spirits while they do their job?
It's customary of most of those international companies. I must state it here. That's what they do. If you don't know Jesus and you don't know Muhammad, you must know something. You understand? That's what they do. Even the bigger companies too, especially when they are walking across the rivers. They do that. It's just that this time around, they came public. You understand? And because third mainland being what it is, you understand, it's in the eye of the public. That's why it caught the attention.
So it could have been done privately?
It could have been done privately. Like I would have worshipped my God now before I came here. You wouldn't have known.
So does the work they're about to do require that level of sacrifice?
It was shocking.
Because the reason I asked that question is, usually when we hear these things, we hear when maybe they're about to do a fresh construction across a river. This is more like a rehabilitation kind of work. That's, for instance, the fourth mainland bridge that the Lagos State government is talking about. Some persons may expect them to do that because this is the first time you're crossing that river with that level of work in that area. But this is, third mainland has been there for God knows how, for many years. So wondering, the work they're about to do or they are doing, does it require that level of sacrifice?
Do you know that some people have phobia? They can't drive over third mainland bridge. I have friends who can drive Ikeja. You understand? But once they are connecting the mainland to the island through third mainland, they can't. They have phobia for water and heights. So it doesn't matter. If they pass third mainland bridge 20 times, they will still do the same. So I think to them, because they are walking over the water, they just feel, they said that's customary of them to do that, to appease their God.
Right. I wonder if the apology means it will not happen again.
No, it won't happen again. We told them.
Right.
We are not against if they want to do. Just like I said, I worshipped my God before I came here. You don't know the kind of God I worshipped. But fortunately, I worshipped Jesus. You understand? But I did that in my room. I didn't have to come and do it here. So if they believe in that, you know, you can't force people to believe in your own religion. They should do it outside the public glare. That's what we said. But it's not something to...
For me, I'm wondering how that level of pre-construction work, so to speak, was carried out without your knowledge, since you're the official supervising it on behalf of the federal government.
What concerns myself and them is the work and how to do it. You understand? Just like the ministry has given me the responsibility of overseeing all the federal roads in Lagos. So how I go about it, it's my own. They think I have capacity. And then where I think I need help, maybe I'll consult police, I'll consult LASMA. I don't have to tell the headquarters. You understand? All they want to see is results.
So let's talk about that.
They didn't have to consult me for their spiritual aspects. They just consulted for the physical and things that had to do with the job, the execution of the job.
So let's talk about that execution. Lots of questions. I don't know how many messages and calls you have received about the Third Mainland Bridge and the work going on there. So tell us, how is work proceeding on the Third Mainland Bridge? The question is more like, when will this be done? But let's just build up to that. How much work has been done? How close are we to getting our Third Mainland Bridge back?
I'm glad to announce to you that work is actually going on well on Third Mainland Bridge, as planned, as pre-planned. Glad to announce to you that we receive a lot of encouraging calls. And people pass Third Mainland Bridge, and then most times they say, I just passed that place. People are working, well done. I can see it will be delivered within the time frame. And then they say again, the traffic management this time around is awesome. It's something people are proud of. Everywhere is quiet. There's no chaos. There's no gridlock, so to say. So work is going on as expected and as planned, and we will deliver even before time. The Honorable Minister is pushing us to deliver before time.
What's the definition of before time?
I came here to say the first phase will be about 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
And I said, give or take, by the end of February, we will leave the first phase. That's the Lagos Island bound. And we're going to do that. We're going to deliver before the end of February. Before the end of February, the contractor has capacity, is laying about half a kilometer every day. Half a kilometer every day, and that bridge is just about 10 kilometers.
And those are images we're seeing of the Third Mainland Bridge and the work going on. And you talk about traffic management, which is a major part of this conversation. It still closes for inward bound island by 12 noon.
Yes.
And then outward opens at that time all the way to 12:1, all the way to midnight again.
Yes.
If I'm correct, and then the cycle continues.
Yes, continues, yeah.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, but we're still looking at these particular pictures from the Third Mainland Bridge. For those of you who are wondering what exactly it is. So let's come back to you, madam, the issue of this traffic management, because that is actually where the challenge is. No matter how it is managed, people still have concerns about the situation. So what are those concerns you've noticed and you've heard and you're addressing specifically? Because the volume of traffic on Third Mainland Bridge is quite huge, one of the heaviest in the country. So I don't know how excellent though. I haven't gone through this bridge since this construction started, so I can't speak for a fact. I'm wondering, what have you noticed that, okay, we need to fix quite early to be able to meet up and make life easy for commuters?
The first week we started, the openings we did at Adeoluwa, the point of diversion, we made it as wide as 30 meters. The bridge deck itself is about 14 meters. So we said if 14 is emptying into 30, you understand? So the maneuvering will be very easy. So we did that, and then to come out at Adeoluwa, because of the constraints around the junction there, we're able to get around 22 or so. But I went there to do the on-the-spot assessment, and I saw that we could do better. Coming out of Adeoluwa was a bit slow.
Okay.
Because they need to ramp up, then come down. Then we've devised a means of overcoming the challenges. We had to break those barriers again. At least we could get about 25 meters opening. So 14 meters opening into 25. You can see that I make it very easy. And that's why you see the traffic moving. It's not stagnant. And most mornings I pass there and I try to make the LASMA and the road safety and police do their work the way it's supposed to be done.
And so okay, before Bukola comes in, I want you to reiterate that, because as I said, I have not got, in fact, I was supposed to go to the island on Friday. I couldn't go.
No, feel free. No, it's moving.
Because of all of that.
No, it's moving.
So just to reiterate, because I still see people having a challenge remembering. For some reason, like me, some people have not gone to the island, or people from the island have not come to the mainland. So I know Kayode had asked you that question, but maybe for emphasis before Bukola asks a question. When is it opening? When is it closing?
Okay. Adeoluwa, if you're going to the island, you can go from 12 midnight to 12 noon. 12 midnight
to 12
to
noon,
12
you're
noon.
heading to the island.
If you're heading to the island,
It's free.
It's free. All the accesses.
That means the other side is closed.
Antony, Bagada, Bariga, Oworo, all those small.
From Beggar down.
From Beggar down, it's free from 12 midnight.
Okay.
The police are wonderful. They're cooperating with us. By 11, you see them at that Oworo junction. That's Bagada junction. At that intersection, you see them there. So, and just waiting for 12 o'clock in conjunction with the contractor and the officials of the Federal Ministry of Works. By 12 on the dot, midnight, we block it.
In the afternoon?
That's midnight.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Then we leave it till 12 noon. Like now, the traffic is moving there. Okay. But once it's 12 noon, they block it again.
Oh, okay.
And then when we block it, you see stream of vehicles caught in that diversion. So we wait until the last person is gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes by 12:15 is gone, sometimes by 12:30 is gone, depending on the volume. Sometimes by 12:45 it is gone. Then we just open the island for them to come into the mainland.
But sadly, at that time is not when there is really pressure, for people who want to move to the island, particularly from the mainland. It's in the evening, from about 4 to about 6, 8, and 9. That's when people really want to travel. But
really?
Yeah.
It's in the morning that people want to go to the island.
People go to the island in the morning, come back.
Okay, particularly for Bukola.
Well, at that time, people want to move to the island.
Yeah.
So there's pressure on the alternative routes. So as a result, I'd like you to talk to us about the slow pace of work, perceived slow pace of work, and when it will be done. And in addition, if you will address, concerns about additional manpower to manage traffic, particularly during the pressure periods when people are traveling.
The alternative routes are free. There's been instances that I just drive through just to see for myself how traffic is moving. Traffic is moving down straight Ikorodu Road to Akpogbo. It's moving. There's no issue at all. Traffic managers, they are there doing their job. And on Third Mainland, there's no issue. And we looked at it that in the morning, people will have gone at least reasonably by 12 noon. People going to the island. That's why we gave that window. And then we said, if you're coming back, there's no need to close it and say till 4. That's when we open it. So if you're coming back, just come back freely. And if you must go to the island, even after that 12, Ikorodu Road is very free. Ikorodu Road is free. To Akpogbo, to Eko Bridge is very free.
Right. So let's wind down on this one. It's a big one. People are still saying they think the pace of work is slow. And we have to bring these concerns up because these are concerns by Nigerians. And they always give examples and say, well, in this climb, I'm sure you've seen some videos, but people saying, well, this is how road construction is done in other climes. This is how it is done and how long it takes. So first, give us a specific date, something to go by. We're not asking for Valentine's Day present, so maybe February 14th might be off. But at least give us a specific date to look forward to and address these concerns about slow pace of work, which a lot of people have said they think is the case.
The work is not slow. It's a very technical work. It's not just work. We've been doing it before. There's a way we've been doing it. And now we say we want to do it differently. This one is not a patching work. It's kind of a reconstruction work. So it has to be slow and steady. And it's not even slow. The contractor is doing half a kilometer every day. The first thing
he did... do this down the stretch.
Yeah, and it's about 10 kilometers. That bridge is about 10 kilometers. So it's not just one car, and this long bridge here is 4.5 kilometers. You understand? So that bridge is 10 kilometers. So, and the first work he did when he got to site was first to remove the existing asphalt. And that took a while. When he did that, he started with the expansion joints, which is very technical. It's over water.
Right.
You can't do it anyhow. So it has to be done in a way you understand that it's very technical and in a way that it will not affect the stability of that bridge.
So
and having done that, he started the asphalt overlay again. And he's laying asphalt. The minimum the contractor lays a day is 30 trucks. And each truck is 30 tons. So, and that covers about 500 meters a day, which is half a kilometer. And you have about 10 kilometers.
I know we
So
could
in
go
the
on
next 20
about
days.
this conversation.
Yeah,
So is it
because
the
of
first part that will be done by February, or the
Yes.
entire thing that will be done by April? Because I recall the last time.
Is the two.
Okay.
They'll be done by
The two.
April.
So we're doing one bound now.
Okay.
So when we're done, before the end of February, we'll be done. I can't give a specific date, but give or take, third week in February, we should leave that place, and then we'll alternate the traffic. And then start.
What I wanted to ask was this caused by wear and tear, or what? Because let's talk about sustainability in a moment, so that we don't come back 2 years from now and they say they have to close Third Mainland Bridge again because work wasn't properly done or something. So how long this work now? How long is it supposed to last that we'll not have to close any of the bounds?
I've said it here before. It's a minimum of 5 years.
Okay.
Minimum of 5 years.
All right.
But we expect it to be more than that because it is comprehensive repairs that we're doing now, not just patchworks or routine maintenance.
Okay, Engineer Lukorede Kesha, I'm sure you can feel the passion that we have by extension.
And she's always ready to answer the questions.
Thank you so much. And of course, we'll be following the work as it proceeds. Engineer Lukorede Kesha is Federal Control of Works, Lagos. Please keep our Third Mainland Bridge safe.
It is very safe.
Fixed.
As we look forward to the fourth.
It's a beloved infrastructure.
All right.
Mr. President is passionate about it. My minister is passionate about it. We are all passionate about it. We don't have too many of that. So,
thank you so much. I would have loved to ask about the Fourth Mainland Bridge, but maybe we'll do that another time.
No, that one is for Lagos State.
I know, but at least I wonder if there will be a lot of competition. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
We'll go to break now. When we return, we're having, yes, our guest. The mystery guest we started with, where we're unveiling him right away. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. That is our guest right now on the show in a couple of minutes. Eniola Adeoluwa joins us. You know him as a lot of things: influencer, content creator, fashion. Is it icon now? Is it a fashion trendsetter? The list goes on and on. We speak to him in a moment. So stay with us. It's still the morning brief.
See, if you're going to look for a job, better don't carry your friend, though. That's how my friend say, okay, let him follow me to look for a job. Me, I didn't mind, though, because it's his uncle that owns the place, and they said they're looking for care workers. I said, which one is care worker again? The man said, do I know how to take care of the babies? I said, yes. He said, do I know how to read and write? I said, a lawyer. So it's kindergarten, I'll be primary school, that this man is calling care worker. I knew there was fire on the mountain when our boss stopped us in the middle of the road and we had to push. What I didn't know is that the fire in front is even worse. Can someone explain to me why people are so wicked? This is not a kindergarten, this is a farm, a poultry. I'm not a care worker, I'm a laborer. See this here, wicked like his uncle. We decided to work since they said they will pay us 30k per day. This Annie said that this his uncle does not count the chicken, that we should take 1 or 2. And you ate 4 chickens today. Me, I don't do that kind of thing. I was just looking at him as he was eating. We're asking ourselves, why is it that one is always like this? When do that people go and find job? They're working in Google, in Microsoft. Look at us. On a farm. And yeah, very good at communicating with cows. The cows were just following him once he says moo. Maybe he's a cow or he knows because he behaves like a cow. I don't know. One thing about me is that I have respect. And that's my problem. Because when we finished working, this man said 30k. This man said that it was a mistake, that he meant 3k. That will he pay us 30k per day. 3,000 naira. My money was not even complete when I got home and counted it. Sir, that was 2,600 naira. He promised us 30k each and we took matters into our own hands. Getting the money he promised us by hook or by crook. I was a bit scared at first, but I got over it. So please, patronize us this Christmas. We have goats. Although there's one little problem. The goats does not do meh, east to back, but it's good. If they come and rob you, they will think you have dog. How was your own day?
So that's just a little of the work he does on and off social media. Eniola Adeoluwa is with us on the morning brief this morning. Eniola, how you doing?
I'm good, I'm all right. I'm excited to be here.
I must say, lovely jacket.
Oh, thank you. I tried not to do too much because I'm like, it's morning, so just keep it calm.
So if it is not too much, what would it look like?
Like, star-studded and all like the diamonds and pearls, but I'm like, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple.
Okay, Adeoluwa.
Keep it simple and green.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people know the different sides of you on social media, but it's interesting that there's a backstory to who you are. First-class student, master's with distinction. Now you're studying for a PhD,
yeah,
if I'm correct. So what's going on with you, Eniola? Why is it just you that has packed all of that into one person?
I'm from Ekiti State. I think that's a very big reason for it. And again, I think like people who are from Ekiti, you know, like book is something that we just sort of, you know, have so much interest in. It comes
easy to you.
Yeah, it comes easy actually. So that's a joke. That's not why. Well, school comes easy to me. I do like education, and I do like the idea of reading and, you know, getting degrees. And also, when you're young and you have so much time and space, the best advice for me is to, you know, get it up and get your degrees and get responsible with it as well. Because also influencing is very shaky. You're never sure. At some point, you may not be relevant. You don't know what next year is, and so you're looking at, you know, having sort of like a standby for yourself. So if, in case of anything happens, you know that I have things to fall back on. And I have yes, exactly. I have degrees. I could go back to my 9 to 5 and, you know, work corporate again as well. So yeah, it's also part of that. It's like a tiny little strategy in there. So.
Interesting. So let's talk about why do you think people love your personality? Because a lot of people will look at you and will try to deconstruct you, maybe to copy you, basically, to replicate what you're doing, because a lot of people love the attention on social media. They will do anything for it. 1,000 likes, 1,000 followers and the rest. So why do you get so much attraction? What do you think endears you to a lot of people?
I think what social media uses is real. So I'm sort of very open with the way I feel. I'm very open with what I think and my ideas as well. I'm also very concrete on how I think the world should be as well. And I don't try to hide or mask, you know, try to pretend in a certain way to make people think or have a certain perception of me. And I think a lot of young people like, you know, people being real. And so they sort of can emulate and see, oh, you're able to do this, so I can emulate and also find reasons to do it this way as well. And I think that's what a lot of people really like. And I like it as well, because, you know, every time I'm watching someone else or watching on social media or offline, I'm looking at someone I can emulate and, you know, learn from as well. And the only way we can learn from people is if they show us the bad and the good side. And that's, I think that's fair.
So that brings the question on money. I like to talk about money because, you know, at the end of the day, viability is important, which is why you say it's quite volatile for people within that space, at least right now. So you need to put all these degrees somewhere and say, okay, just in case it doesn't work, we have something to fall back to. So how viable is this? Because a lot of people are content creators, which is why we're bringing loads of them, or loads of you guys to the program to share perspectives so that others can be inspired. I know that most of the time when we ask straight questions, it's difficult to answer straight answers. If I say, how much do you make in a month and all of that. But walk us around viability and how to keep that thing sustainable.
To be fair, content creation, everybody says it's the new cash cow in the moment, but the way I see it is that with every business you have to save for the rainy days and also understand your business as well. And so you've looked at people who have existed in the industry before you. Fairly, content creation is new, nobody knows the future of it. The set of influencers and set of content creators you have now, the new set, you've only had people who have worked in film and, you know, just worked in the entertainment space. And, you know, so at the end of the day, we're seeing people who have worked in film and the entertainment space sort of not save up for rainy days. And so you have young people now who are informed and can make better propositions for themselves. And so are looking at it, you know, I need to save up for rainy days, make money, make as much money as I can and diversify my income as well and diversify my money. And to be very honest, a lot of advertisers are putting their money in content creation because it's easy to influence people because you're actually using products and people are seeing you use those products, so they are easily influenced because you're telling them the truth as well. I do not like this product, I like this product. And so to be fair, a lot of advertisers do put their money there. But there are days, for example, average influencers know that in January we don't make money. Yes, because brands are just planning their yearly strategy. Right. So, for example, I've not done any work in January, and so in December, for example, I had to work overtime, but that's also because of years of experience. I know that I have to work overtime in December. So most times you find us working overtime at every show. You know, yes, you're like, I gotta save up for January. I gotta save up for January and February. So that way you can save money. So I think it's the same with every business. Just save up for rainy days. Really.
So the reason I ask is because the way influencers and content creators buy houses,
right?
And these houses are not cheap. Right. Is it that much? Is it that lucrative? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do understand what you're saying. There are two sides to influencing, to be honest. And also, a lot of people who buy houses. I've not bought a house.
I was going to ask.
I've not bought a house yet. But a lot of people, there are two sides to influence, and there's the corporate side, and there's the side where people do different SMEs. They don't have to necessarily, today if I do a bank, I may not be able to do a bank for the next 6 months, and there are specific people who can do 5 brands, and they're just,
they're promiscuous.
They're just taking so much money. And yes, they would be able to afford, houses, cars, and a lot of people do YouTube and Facebook, and all of these platforms also pay people as well. And so a lot of influencers and content creators do make a lot of money. Sometimes I'm jealous as well, so just say it out there. But yeah, I know that on social media a lot of people get worried and like, where are you getting money from? Oh, they do have money. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Interesting. I'm learning a lot, and I must say you have very good form. In fact, those who are watching you right now, they're already commenting about how you have good skin formation, and that brings me to one of the things that is known about you. You're into makeup. In fact, I've seen you, 1 or 2 times use the under eye, and you're known as the lip gloss guy. Right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Speaking of some of the things that are good about you, you're also a very good writer. I've read some of your advocacy for men who are feminists. Let me just read what I have read. I believe the term effeminate is a derogatory term to men who act in a certain way, as if to think there is a defined way which a man should be. You may not like to say it, but it's all about toxic masculinity. There is no one way to be a man. So what's toxic masculinity?
Oh, wow, I'm surprised you found that. That's more like 2020. But growing up, I grew up in Accra, Ondo State, and then I also grew up in Adeoluwa State, and you grew up with men who did not express themselves, men who sort of lived a life very stoic and very rigid, and I don't think people should live a life like that. I don't think young people should emulate such, and you want people to be able to go through life and know that they found joy and they found peace, and when they went home they were happy with their families and they love to spend time with families. And especially in this part of the world, it's such a thing to be hard and to be rigid, and it's like we celebrate things more when we don't get it easily. And so even when you go to an office and you want to collect a document and they just give it to you, you're like, why? Like, why are you just giving me? But when they take you through a particular process, you're like, I fought for it. And life is supposed to be lived happily and easy and fun, and you should enjoy the moments and know that, when I'm leaving the world, I will live to my life happily, and other people who were in the world with me would also be happy that he lived a good life. And that's really what I advocate for. I want everybody who is a man or a woman or anybody, just go through life, living life happily and enjoy life. Life is for the living. So
is it okay for a man to be effeminate?
I think, to be honest, that's the way you grew up. Nobody's gonna change the way you were built. I mean, you can try and society can help you adjust certain things. But to me, whenever anybody asks me that question, I just tell you that if you're not hurting anybody or causing harm to anybody, then you should let people live life the way they want to live. And again, focus on your business. People should spend time focusing on the things that do matter. Fuel prices, the state of the economy, labor market. There's so much to focus on, and those are quite irrelevant stances.
Sorry, pardon me, I have 2 more questions in that mix. So, is it learned or is it natural for men who are effeminate? When I say learned, is this something they learned growing up? When I say natural, is it something that they are born with?
Right. I could only speak from my own experience, and to be fair, that's the way I was born, talk a certain way or walk a certain way. And again, like I said, society can, change perspective to things. As you also grow, a lot of things change, and so it's not the same way that you experience life when you were growing up, the same way you experience it as an adult. Yeah. And so you can only learn to change certain things, but like I said, my idea and concept of life is, if you're not anybody or causing hurt to anybody, then people should be allowed to live life the way they want to live, because you and again, like I always say, if we all went about the world telling people what we're uncomfortable with about them, the way they look, the way they dress, or the way they sit, so I looked at you and said, oh, I don't like the way you sit, then we might as well all be walking with our heads on the ground, And so I say it every time, let people be who they want to be and leave them to be who they want to be, and, let people just enjoy their lives, really.
We're going to get to the point, because we talked about there are other issues going on in the world. We'll come to like a political or current affairs trivia. We'll ask you some questions.
I'm not going to know any.
Hey, first class student distinction.
I'm not going to know any.
And I know you follow politics, so simple questions, basically. And this is essentially to raise awareness, because there's a lot of, young people who consume other things besides news. So some of them think they're politically aware, but not as much when it comes to governance.
Yeah, so I think there's a reason too, anyway.
Which we'll get into. Okay. It's important we have that conversation. Yeah. But I need to follow up with what Bukola said, because a lot of people will say then you'll be getting different attentions from different people. So how do you handle attention? I imagine ladies give you attention. Do men give you attention as well?
How would you know? I mean, to be honest, you are an exemplary person in the world, and so people would always reach out to you to learn from you and to talk to you, and just want to learn from you. And so of course people do reach out to both genders, but most times I don't think the way the world looks at it in the perspective of when you're famous, people are always going to reach out to you to maybe ask you out, all of that. No, I don't think so.
So no one is asking?
No, I don't think so. I'm very, I don't even do love. I'm very.
We've seen images with Hilda Bassi, then another lady who's your close friend.
Oh, Priscilla.
Yes.
Wow.
So a lot of people are asking questions, and you're not staying in one place.
Let's not grab you.
So we need to know.
Kayode, sorry, you said something. You're not into love right now.
No,
Kayode, please let's follow up on that.
That's the point I'm asking. So where are you, Eniola? Is it with Hilda Bassi? Is it with
Priscilla?
Priscilla? Priscilla and I are very good friends. That one is sure. We're very good friends. We spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
We hang out together. Hilda Bassi and I are friends. I think Hilda is also in a relationship, in a public relationship. So that's why. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Priscilla is in.
Okay, let's talk.
Eniola, Adeoluwa, Prince from Victoria. No, it's not. It's not in a relationship. Right. And he doesn't plan to in any, maybe like in July. That's around my birthday period. So
you're still in your early 20s.
You're still in your early 20s, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so that things could change, right? Yeah, I'm in my early 20s.
Brilliant.
All right, quite young. Okay, let's move on now to food. Tell us your love. Tell us about your love for food.
Why am I smiling?
Let's go there.
Yeah, because if you see his page, there's so much food, and it comes out like, okay, Eniola, where's the food exactly? Where is it going? So it's like you have a body that can really accommodate this thing. But before we talk about how it reflects on you, because you look great, as a matter of fact, but let's talk about why your love for food. Okay, that's you.
Oh no.
And you never do one plate.
I know. Right.
I don't know, like.
Because I deserve to eat as much as I want to. That's the goal.
So talk about, is it that you love food, or this is just a strategy for entry into the social media space? What exactly is this?
Oh, for entry, I'm not in the entry stage anymore.
No,
I'm kidding. Okay, that's like young shade.
Yeah, we know.
No.
Well, I talk about your food life and all of that.
Yeah, I do love food, and also it helps me appreciate like the different cultures and traditions that exist in Nigeria. And so sometimes I've traveled for food, and you get to eat something and you're like, oh, I didn't know this exists in this part of the world. And so food is good. Food is for the living. That's me making amala and the way to gbegiri.
But this was years ago, by the way.
No, this was this year.
Oh, really?
During I was breaking my fast, and so I made amala.
Oh, I see. You actually look different. So I thought this was years ago.
Oh, do I look younger?
Okay, let's just hear what you know. Let's help the audience. Let's hear what maybe the director. Let's hear what he was doing.
My life, I drink water, I sleep back, I wake up, I try to do everything. By 3:18, I was already getting thinner. I said, let me go and cook. Maybe by the time I finish cooking, it will already be 6. So I cooked amala. I went to begiri and stew. As I was cooking the stew, I almost tasted it. I said, devil, let me tell you, I cooked begiri. I cooked the amala. More raw amala, yeah. Let me tell you, my mother always said, if you do not put the amala on the ground like this, you not started cooking it. By the time I finished cooking it, it wasn't still yet 6. I said, let me go on my bath. By the time I came out, it was already 6. You people, I started with the amala. I consumed. Hey, did I remember to pray like this? Brethren, let's pray. Every arrow against our destiny, die by fire. Anybody that say they will not grieve for us in 2023, if we do not grieve for them.
You're eating with a white shirt.
To yourself. Oh yes, that's when you know an expert. You eat with your white shirt and you don't get a stain on it. Expertise. Right. Well, it's so different hearing yourself like.
Yeah, we get that as well when you're listening to yourself.
I thought I was going to be a broadcaster when I was young.
But you're doing that now.
But you're doing that already. You hosted Robin Minds at some point when the book was around.
Okay, well, fair, yeah.
Okay,
just once, but you know, like when you were growing up, and because you talk a lot, everybody says, "Oh, you should consider broadcasting." Yeah.
Let's not be distracted. Food.
Oh, okay. We're going back to
food.
Let's talk food.
Right.
Why you love food?
Oh, I do love food because food is life. Food is sweet. Food makes you happy. I always say food will never cheat on you. Your partner will cheat on you, but food will never. And again, food helps you appreciate cultures. And you know, I'm not Igbo. I can get to eat ofensala. I could travel to Kano and eat tuwo shikafa, and you know, just also have a taste of the culture there. And you know, food connects people together. So that's it. That's it for me with food.
Speaking of culture, I hope you're going to pardon me and we'll still be friends after I ask.
You in particular, I'm not sure.
She's like your biggest fan, by the way.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Coyote. You've been very kind, as always.
Let me throw that in, so that in case any is being serious about not...
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay, speaking of cultures, and again, pardon me, you know, we're in an African society where there are expectations, you know, about genders. And I know you've heard this a lot. Are you concerned, you know, about the outlook of African societies, families towards how certain genders are supposed to be, the expectations about how men are supposed to carry themselves? They're not supposed to wear makeup. They're not supposed to act like women. Do you have concerns about role modeling for African families, you know, those who express concern that Eniola is effeminate?
One, I'm like 1% of 1%. I started my PhD at age 23. So I finished from university at age 19 with a first class. So if anybody's worried about any other thing and they're looking for where to draw inspiration from, I always say that, well, I have such a range for you to draw inspiration from. Like, and I tell people every time, I'm not sure your father finished from the university at age 19 with a first class. So if you can't learn from your father and you're looking to me, then you should, you know, look at the positive or what you consider positivity and, you know, just emulate it as well. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to live my life to impress any other person. I'm going to live my life for me and advise people to live their lives for themselves as well. And so I say every time that I'm not clay. You're not remodeling me to fit into your own perspective. I'm not going to be perfect for you. And so you select the positive sides of people and then you emulate that. And again, with the society and culture and tradition, culture is made by men, and so, you know, it's constantly changing and changes to the way we see things and the perspective of life. And so I don't think that what exists right now is going to exist, you know, 10 years from now. And so growing up, for example, women couldn't do certain things, for example, and, you know, a woman can't get married to someone else and the person would, take the nationality of a Nigerian, for example, and those things are going to change and they need to change and they have to change. And, for example, men could not do certain things before. I know my father didn't grow up with his father saying, I love you to him, but I grew up with my father saying, oh, I love you dearly, Eni, and I will say I love you too. And, that sort of makes me happy. So every time I end a call, I'm concerned about something, I can go to my father and talk to him and know that there is peace at home, there is love at home. Right. And again, like I always say, a lot of people, say these things, but a lot of people wish they had homes like that. And so instead of wishing, why don't you change your home and make it better? And so with the next generation that comes after you as well, lives life happily and, you're also not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your family, for your children that will come after as well.
I'm sure you're doing a lot of work responding to some of those concerns on a daily basis, which naturally...
I don't respond on social media.
You don't, right?
No, I intentionally don't respond on social media.
Privileged.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a big issue. But as we wind down, Adeoluwa, quite a number of things we want to speak to, what to expect from you this year, but I need to ask you about current affairs. I have 4 questions for you, Eniola. So let's go. First,
let me tell you something. Rather than embarrass myself, and if I don't know anything, I'm just going to act like I don't. I'm just going to...
You just act like you didn't hear. Pardon me? Right. So let's go. These are questions you obviously know. Who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives?
I actually do not know.
Who is the Senate President?
I don't know either.
Who is the Vice President?
No idea.
I know what you're doing. Okay. What are the tiers of government that we have? The 3 tiers of government.
I'm not sure.
What are the...
I'm not sure. Is it legis? No.
That's not true.
Go ahead. 3 tiers. So tiers. Let me help you. Tiers.
Like this. Executive.
Tiers. Arms of government.
Yeah.
Is different from tiers of government.
That's what I'm saying.
So arms of government, executive, legislature, judiciary. Yeah. Then tiers is more like federal, state, and local.
Okay.
But let's end with this one.
I have a simpler one. Okay. Maybe just give a prediction for Nigeria and Angola. Do you watch football? That's future current affairs.
The AFCON one.
Yes. You don't even watch football too?
No.
Oh boy. You see what
I don't believe you.
So what do you watch?
Me?
What do you watch?
Oh no, I spend my time reading my books.
Right. Final one.
No. I don't believe you.
This is the final one for orientation or awareness. If a road is bad, if there's potholes on the road, what do you think is the best approach to fixing it? Who do you go to maybe report? Do you write a petition? Do you go to your representative? Because I want Nigerians to also think about how to jointly fix Nigeria's problem. So if you see a bad road, what do you think is the best approach to ensuring it's fixed?
So ensuring that the road is fixed?
Yeah, as a citizen.
Okay, I'll answer that one. I think that...
You like that?
No, it's not about... I'll say 2 things. I'll say one, why young people with governance and, avoid such conversations. And there's a reason why. And again... It's something that I don't want us to ignore. The question is, why are young people not interested anymore? Exactly. Because you've been in a system that's not worked for you, and you've shown interest and it has not worked. And so I come on an interview I'm at a panel session and everybody's asking me questions, and I'm like, okay, so when I answer, it's what's going to happen after? Like, you're not going to be like, and the minister said,
change.
Right? Yeah, nothing. So people are losing interest as well, and so we need to try and work with, it's not just about knowing, like, my President Barry, or, the Senate President. It's also, how do we get young people involved in all of these things? And, you're talking about portals and say, oh, everybody's signed to a ward, and I go and report to the ward who represents my ward, and, all of that. And instead of saying, oh, my governor needs to fix it. But that's also because the average individual in the country is not even going to know all of these things, because the person is supposed to report to is supposed to be present in his life. He's supposed to be there. Like, he's not supposed to go and read it in a textbook and say, okay, I report to this person. If the person is supposed to show himself, because he knows that, oh, I'm concerned about these people, I represent these people. And so you come and say, oh, we represent. I don't talk about
this is the point we were going to raise about the trivia and the rest. And I hope a lot of young people are watching you, because you are like a shining light for them is it Gen Z body now? What?
Gen Z per.
There you go. So a lot of people look up to you, and it's great that you are shining the light academically and the rest. So hopefully one of these days we'll see you get involved in governance, maybe more active.
Like a position.
In different ways.
Run for political
you don't have to run for political office. You can also get involved in different ways.
Right.
Perhaps that will drive the attention. But Adeoluwa, it's been an honor having you on the show. I know how much work we had to do to capture you into the studio.
I'm big fans of the broadcasting network as well. So
it's a mutual feeling.
Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Adeoluwa, thank you so
for
much
having
for your
me.
time.
We're
going to
bring you
have
back.
a conversation with you soon.
Yeah. That time I would know the name of the person.
So there you go, Adeoluwa.
I probably screened some people out.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You know him as Annie, and you follow him on social media, see his content. We have him live. Keep the conversation ongoing on social media as well. Thank you so much, Adeoluwa. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
So we'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll talk about the inspiring story of two gentlemen. One of them a laborer, a tiler, the other a producer, and their video has since gone viral. We'll get them in studio to do what they know how to do best, and that's the moment. Stay with us.
You know, no time to waste. Mo fẹ́ jáde tán. Èyí tàyí fọ́tọ̀ ṣóhun náà gbọ́ngbọ́. Èdè tí n bá pè mo fẹ́ kọ́ máa gbọ́.
My bride dinner.
What's that?
Yeah. Check you did sing, you sabi sing.
I didn't sabi sing.
You sabi sing. All right, that's no worries. Hello, good evening. Yeah, sorry, I just want to ask you if you do sing.
No.
Oh, all right now, thank you. Hey, Egbon, ṣé mo rí ńkọ́?
Ẹ̀gbọ́n akọ́lá ni mí. Ìjọba ni mo ń ṣe yìí. Bó ti hùn kó ojú di ọwọ́ òṣìnú ẹnu bó ṣe di gágá tó àdébí tá à ń lọ kó rọgbọ síbẹ̀ o adélẹ̀ ìlérí.
Edu. Ọmọ na Fuji hin dey sing o. No. Hip hop mo fẹ́ kì í ṣe Fuji.
Ó wà lẹ́ẹ̀gbọ́n.
Ẹ tún kọ hip hop.
Mo ń kọ́ hip hop o, ṣé tàbí fi hàn wà nìyẹn.
Ó yá náà. Ṣé ẹni freestyle? Náà ẹ jẹ́ play beat yẹn fún yín wáyé.
Ó yẹ gbọ́n. Baba gbéra fine boy o. Okay. Awa, atu, abo, oya, say. I need your blessings o.
Let's just go straight to the point. Emma is vibe. Let's record.
Baba gbéra fine boy. No you did not. Lord, I need your blessings, so you know you don't say my day pushing, you know. No beside too lazy, you. I dey struggle every day, so far too much, you. Nego, kima loro no ku, pass me like that, can fish shakana ku. Timba don't roro nubo, ogoluwa malore mi lekun. Emi kan fẹ́ gbéra tán, you know no time to waste, mo fẹ́ jáde tán. Èyí tàyí fọ́tọ̀ ṣóhun náà gbọ́ngbọ́. Èdè tí n bá pè mo fẹ́ kọ́ máa gbọ́. Èmi kan fẹ́ gbéra tán, you know no time to waste, mo fẹ́ jáde tán. Èyí tàyí fọ́tọ̀ ṣóhun náà gbọ́ngbọ́. Èdè tí n bá pè mo fẹ́ kọ́ máa gbọ́. Wo ara kan mi gan, ara kan mi jù ẹ lọ. I don't want to hear your story. If you hear my own ọmọ, you go fall.
Oh yeah, now make I put some vocals effect. Oh yeah, now ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ kọ́ta record by.
Ṣé nǹkan tí mo ṣe ń ṣe recording?
Iṣẹ́ ẹ̀fọ́ ni ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ kọ́ta ṣe.
Yeah, I mean, watching that video alone, a lot of people had goosebumps just seeing it. Well, diamond in the rough, literally. So we have the two gentlemen you saw in that video joining us in the studio this morning to tell us how in this case, how we went viral story. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Damilola Akafo. He's a Popil, that's what we know you as a music producer. You saw there going around with his laptop, microphone and the rest, and he found the next person we'll introduce to you. That's Adeoluwa Neo D is a floor tiler and now budding musician. Gentlemen, good morning, welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, sir.
I don't know who to start with, either with you, Neo D, or Popil, but let me begin with you, Neo D. Man, those skills. So walk us through what happened there? You were working, obviously you'd been singing before, but did you ever think you would one day go viral and a lot of people will watch you and be commenting and sharing your video? How does it feel?
All is on God. Because I'm just imagining. Till now, I'm still imagining. Actually, I didn't know him anywhere. Just he's a producer that like working trenches and picking talent come outside. So I was working that very day. He's already asked money, one or two, like one girls on Shemoniko. So all those said no. So I went packing sand to make his sand to make my ties done. So just
do you know how to sing?
Yeah, they know how to sing. Yeah. Because like I've been singing now like 2 and Leon.
Really?
Yeah. But no ever. But we keep on pushing and we're never doing it. So from there I said yes. I used Fuji to start. But in Judy, oh she no. But she did gaga to Adebita and so that's why I sing first. So he said, he's not a producer of Fuji. So I was laughing at it, but it didn't shock me because I really love music so much. So that is I believe myself. With anything.
Beautiful. So let's talk about your love for music. Maybe people want to see, right now we're not seeing your eyes clearly. Maybe you can so that you can see. So your fans, your new fans, expanded fans can see your face. Okay, fantastic. So that we can see you clearly. Let's talk about how your love for music started. Where did it start from? Before all of this now, where did your music love come from?
Oh, actually, when I've been learning work, I've been discovering myself. Because when I go sites, I always shout, singing. I am Fuji most. That's the best Fuji I love is Oshupa side. So that is why I always hear him with earpiece. So there's no any side we work. So they have to know that someone is working here.
Yeah.
Because I always shout.
You're the entertainer at the site.
Yes, sir. So from there, I started creating hip hop. My first track is Iri, but till now it's not uploaded online. Till now, that is still on Leon. Because I've been being a boss of myself in Ties since 2010. And I've been boss. So from there, shout out to my Casey Jacks producer. He was the one make me enter studio in my life. I haven't. So the first track, I didn't pay any money then. So that's where the message started coming. So from there, I tried enough shot, but from there I keep on pushing myself. So to just cut the story short, I started going concerts. I'm a Sele guy. I go to Sele church. So I'm in choir. I sing Fuji, I sing Juju. So no pattern you bring, I will sing everything. Shake grab. So it's just a God gift shot, not me. It's a good gift. So from there, I have many hip hop track that I no money to go studio then. So with a little I see in my work, I push myself. But let me just thank God shout out today. Because the story is very long.
It's a long story.
It's a long story, and it's cause for Thanksgiving. And listening to the lyrics itself, it's like a story.
Yes.
Your backstory that you're trying to tell us. I'd like you to share that with us. You're talking about, you want to rise, but there are no opportunities and all of that. I'd like you to share that with us. First of all, before I ask the next question.
Actually, when I see pop that every day, so it was like, okay, give me beats, share the freestyle. So yes, now of course. So when I play beats, if you check the video, I listen, and it's but I just feel like the spirit just bring the song because I didn't plan it before.
You didn't plan it?
No.
You didn't have that tune and the lyrics written down anywhere before?
No.
It just came spur of the moment. Wow.
That's an inspiration come because that very day I'm on origin level. I'm drink already, so I'm on highness before you come. So the highness I used to push the song. So Lord, I need a blessing, so you don't take my pushing. No beside too lazy, you. I just struggle every day, so far too much, you.
And that's what we're saying here.
My Lord, pass me like that, can fish shakanaku. You know, most guys that smoke now, not that everyone doesn't wish to smoke, but based on sufferness,
and we've seen how that can end up, drug abuse and the rest, which is something that consistently
actually, I don't smoke
against.
I don't smoke, but I just feel
this
like
is part of the lyrics.
Yes.
That's what depression can cause.
Yes.
So essentially you're saying that preaching against it, I guess. But let's come to the producer, because you're the man that discovered him. If you had not said, let me carry my laptop, let me carry my studio, literally, go to the streets.
Shout out to my producer.
Absolutely. So tell us, this is something you've been doing apparently for quite some time. What spurred you to this? Because we know producers are usually in the studio, the artists come to meet them, but you decided to go to meet the artists. What exactly inspired you to go?
Okay, first and foremost, I don't want to be an ordinary producer that just sits at the studio then makes song. So I thought over it for what can I do to help the people around me? Because I do get some messages online saying, please boss, help me, even before the content. Then I thought about it, what if I go outside there in the street to look for artists? Because sometimes I just scroll through my Instagram, then I do see so many artists, I'll be like, wow. Then I check the page, it's nothing. So I came up with the idea of going to the street. Then at the other hand, I was actually discouraged because no security, nothing.
Right.
Then I did it I had to summon the courage. I did the first video and I was like, let me just post it. Then I woke up to see 2,000 views and I was like, wow. Then I started scrolling through Instagram to see more people that are actually in it. Then after that, I went through the streets. I started from Mainland. If you check my videos. So then from there I started seeing some artists that are less privileged for the studio session. And in Nigeria, to get a quality production, you have to spend a lot. Some people's annual salary. I don't know if you get. Wow. So with that, I have to do something that people will see and be like, oh, wow.
So what? I'm not saying assess him. This is not directed. I'm talking to you now as a producer.
Okay.
So when you hear people sing, deliver their lines, whether they're rapping or they're singing Fuji or they're singing Afrobeat or whatever kind of sound is coming from them, how do you identify to say, this one has a future? How do you distinguish that? Because I know as a producer you have those abilities.
The thing is, I don't know if I can say another DJ.
That's what?
Say an ADJ.
Right. Okay, go ahead. Maybe just help us interpret.
Okay, I'll actually interpret. So there's an ADJ that says that Sunday that will be better, you will know from Saturday.
All right.
So you've seen the physics of the artist. It might not be good in lyrics, but you've seen there's some in entertainment, nowadays people don't actually look at the lyrics. Why some people look at the performance of the artist. I don't know if you get me. Why some people look at the way the artist, but there are some artists, they don't know how to write their own songs. They sing other people's songs in their own style. Then be like, what if I groom this guy up, then train him, it will surely be better. So that is what we see. We see far from what they sing to us. There are some people that they will actually sing the best of what they can say, they'll be good, but we feel like, guys, still need to train yourself, still need to train.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Popio, I see that you're a music producer, and music production is fairly lucrative from what we see. You don't just get the jobs from the artists, you also get jobs from content producers who are producing voiceovers and all of that. So you could be fairly comfortable, in my own assumption. But you have now added content creation to it from what we see on your social media platforms. Tell us why you're sort of diversifying.
Okay. The thing is, a lot of people actually do come and they're like, Poppy, I beg, help me. I don't know if you get me. So at the end, I'll be like, bro, because I separate my profession. I see music production and mix Nigerian as a profession. Why I see content creating aside from my profession. Like if I see you on the street, yeah, that's for free. But if you come to me for work, yeah, I'll surely go straight to the point, business-wise. I don't know if you get me. Yeah, so I do.
So we're going to get you to do some of your material. I imagine that the team behind the scenes already has it, but I'm interested about your story. Who are you? Where are you from? What is your family like? I think that's something you can just maybe talk to us about a minute, your background, basically.
Actually, my name is Adeoluwa. I was born and raised in Lagos State, Nigeria, but in Ogun State, yeah, Ijebu. I started my music. Before starting my music, I first learned to my work because I was a stubborn boy then. I was a stubborn boy. So I went to learn my work at Akure. Yes, then. Yeah. So then, I made the freedom. From my freedom, I started making money myself. From making money myself, I detect my talent. So, I just sit down and they say, they lost to you. But that very day, I was expecting more money that very day. But I didn't see it again. So based on one of my customers promised me, that is my engineer. Because I work with so many constructions, complaints with engineers. So I do swimming pool, I do clay, I do marble. There's no any work, anything tiring is my job. So then, I believe I would go to studio that very year, but it doesn't. But God, I think it's God time, sha. Yeah.
I know that you want someone to be on that track. You have been calling for a particular artist you want to feature.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a shout out to him on the show? Do you want to ask him, who's that person? Tell us.
That is Zlatan.
Who's that?
Zlatan.
Okay, so do you want to tell him something now?
Yeah. I want to tell you something because I really love him. Yeah,
Okay.
He's one of my favorite.
Just go ahead. Which camera are you talking to now? So Zlatan is watching you.
Zlatan and Olamide. That is my best rapper I love.
So pitch your song to them. Tell them what you want them to know about you and why you want them to be on your song.
Actually, I want him to be my song based on Zlatan is like sound cool. His slang. I love his slang. I love anything about him. Based on, but I haven't seen in my life. This is my first interview in my life. This is my first interview. So you go.
Okay, so we're going to let you do what you know how to do best as we wind down on the show. So we're going to get the sound for you, and then you're going to do
we freestyle.
Your freestyle. So are you ready for us?
Sure, 100.
Okay. Okay, you're already ready. All right, so are we ready, Tim? Can we go now?
Let's have the sound.
Okay, this sound.
You can hear the sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear the beats, huh?
I'm here.
Okay. Let's see
go
how you
ahead.
go with the beats.
Or should we start again? Okay. All right.
Can we start again?
DJ director. Let's start from the top.
Let's start from the top.
So that ADOD and Popul can give us a feel of their music. So let's start that from the top again. So we can hear ADOD and Popul. Guys, from the top again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
ẹni Ọlọ́run dáátà ló fẹ́ mú kí lówó kí wà pa kí n dẹ̀ tún lẹ́nu kú ìbà Ọlọ́run ìbẹ̀yàn ìbà nábì Muhammad ìbà kọ́dà ìbà ṣẹ̀dá ìbà wọn tó láyé ìbà kọ́dà ìbà ṣẹ̀dá o ìbẹ̀yàn ọmọ ní bàǹkú ìbẹ̀yàn ọmọ ní para rọra ṣe rọra jọjà lọ́tí kan sáàmì rárá bóyá ṣe sún bèbè sókè wá gbà bàbá gbéra màmí sún bèbè sókè wá gbà bọ́sí gbàngbà wá gbà. Mo ní gbẹ̀du tó dáa ní lámbà. Sún bèbè sókè wá gbà. Mr. Poppy Kogile, gbẹ̀du tó dáa ní lámbà.
Freestyle. That was freestyle, yeah.
Freestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neo D, beat produced by Pop Hill. We look forward to seeing you guys on the big stages. We look forward to do a proper performance on the show. We just wanted to give our viewers a snippet.
Yeah.
And seeing your video has gone viral. Gentlemen, we have to thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Zlatan and Olamide.
Yeah.
We do hope you're watching. This is a budding talent, Neo D, who's looking forward to working with you and as well.
Absolutely.
So we wish you the very best. Thank you so much. By the way, we have WhatsApp messages, guys. Apparently they
we have some quick WhatsApp messages.
Of this one. Okay, there's this one on AFCON. Yep. Just to take your comment. This one says, I woke up this morning to see Congo sending Egypt out of the competition. Egypt, 7-time winner. Say AFCON is full of surprises. So that's on our earlier conversation on AFCON.
And this one is on the third Mainland Bridge sacrifice. So to sacrifice and appease the gods has taken a new dimension. No more enshrines and foreign, both out to Nigeria and its traditions. Also both out the sacrifices and the sacrificial lamb. Oh boy.
So I think we're going to end the show with that soundtrack from Pop Hill and maybe some freestyle from me. But guys, let's just close the show, shall we?
All right, it's been quite a journey today. The very first edition for the week. January is about to come to an end. The brand new month is coming in February. Let's see how that plays out. We wish you the very best. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jeffrey Zongo.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Join us again tomorrow. I am Bukola Koka.
Well, I'm Kayode Okikiolu. So this is part where I get up to groove to the music.
All right, thank you for watching.
Fine boy. One time.
You're vixen today.
Ọ̀tá pọ̀ owó tọ́gọ́rùn mi ò léèyàn mo ná lọ́rùn ẹni ọlọ́run dáátà ló fẹ́ mu kí n lówó kí n wà pa kí n dẹ̀ tún lẹ́nu ìbọn ọlọ́run ìbéèyàn ìbànú bí mu ọmọ ìbá kọ́dà ìbá ṣẹ̀dá kí lèmi máa ṣe fòmí dá ìbẹ̀yìn ọmọ ní bàǹkú ìbẹ̀yìn ọmọ ní para pálọ́bà.